kind of treat it the same game to game as it would at any point last month?
I've never treated anything, I've been around a lot of different types of offenses and a lot of different defenses. We've never changed our approach.
Conversely, you're talking about this is just the next game. The losses, do you rank losses as to how much they hurt? Like, did last year's game against Texas, did that hurt more than some other losses, or did it just, do you categorize it differently?
No, not really. In the end, that was pretty, at that time, that was a pretty emotional situation, you thought you won, and you look up and you see it's zeros, and then it's changed, but, when you look back, you look back and you say, what could we have done to win the football game, there was a lot of things where we could have done better, and we had our opportunities, and it didn't happen for us. So, I kind of look at it after you take the emotion out of it, that initial situation, you look back at it and say, okay, why did it happen? And I look at it take a more black and white approach and try to take the emotion out of it. You can't turn back the clock, and you try and get better, take situations like that and hopefully get better from it.
Coach, even though you guys lost that game last year, what did it do to kind of legitimize what you're doing here in Nebraska and kind of show everybody the direction you're taking things here?
I don't think it, I think when you lose a football game, I don't think it does anything for you. It's more for, that's just my approach, that's my feeling on it, but everybody can,
How much different is preparing for this Texas team compared to preparing for last year's Texas team? And they're pretty different offensive styles that they're running right now.
They're different in some ways. They're pretty similar in a lot of ways too.
What are the similarities that stick out the most?
Wide receivers. I think the quarterback can make all the throws that the other guy did. Probably the biggest difference is they don't run this quarterback as much, but I know one thing, he's capable of running. He showed that on film. And you got to be prepared for anything. That's anything that makes it a little more difficult because they had become so ingrained in what they were doing with Colt McCoy. You kind of knew what to expect, and this is what they do, and of course they did it really well. Now they expanded a little bit more, but they can still go back and use a lot of things that they've had in the past. So, you got to be prepared for a lot.
Hey, both, the kind of attention this game is bound to receive, does it present any kind of a different opportunity for you guys in showcasing your program, your recruits, and the attention that you can, the good kind of attention you can get from playing a game like this?
Yeah, if you play well, if you win, that can work both ways. But I think you hope that you're a showcase. Especially these days. You're trying to showcase for your recruits and your program anytime you go out there. To me, I believe your reputation's at stake anytime you walk out there on the field. And this one obviously being on on TV and getting some of the hype it's gotten, maybe a little bit more.
Safe to say that this is one that some of your potential recruits though had more of an interest in coming to see than others you played this year.
Well, yeah, I think that the number one, the time of the game was a little more locked in, and being a home game, and at the time of year, we always seem to get a number of guys, number of recruits at this time of year, and it just so happened that Texas, fell on that date. You start getting in October when the high school seasons are well into play, and then before the playoffs start, this is a time of year when coaches are a little more comfortable letting their players go take visits.
When kids start scheduling their official visits, did it get to a point for this particular game where you just had to say this?
Yeah. There was, I don't know how many we have. We have, I don't know the number right now, but we got a number of official visitors. And it just so happened, we could, with some of the other scheduled times and things, the way it fell, there were some guys that wanted to come earlier and couldn't. So that's just some of the way it works out. We were pretty confident this game was going to be a later start.
Sid Wolkoff in practice yesterday. What's the plan for him moving forward here?
Well, the better he feels, the more he'll play. And I thought he did pretty well out there yesterday.
What did you see from him, I guess, when he was out? A lot of times when it's taken away from a guy, you kind of see that going hard to get back.
I didn't see anything from him when he was out. He didn't practice. But I think that he worked hard to get back. I think he's doing pretty well, and I thought he did well. I thought he looked good out there yesterday. You know, he went for about good 3/4 of the practice, and then we shut him down.
Would you be open putting him and David on the same field, at the same time? Or are they kind of interchangeable?
No, I mean, depends on what package we're in. But yeah, you would definitely see that as the season goes on.
How much do you stress to your team to still be the hunter as opposed to the hunted?
Say that again?
Do you stress to your team at all, like, to still be the hunter as opposed to the hunted?
It's the way it's the only way to go. You become the hunted, you're going to go down fast.
What have you seen from Cameron Meredith this year, and what kind of strides has he made?
Cameron's playing well. He's really gotten better. I think that he's plays physical. He's a good football player.
You guys have the number one pass defense in the country right now. What's impressed you most about the secondary so far this season?
Well, I think it's a lot of things. It's the way you play. It's execution. There are a lot of things that go into playing good pass defense. It's not just the secondary. It's obviously the linebacking core, the pass rush. All those things go hand in hand. And that said, there's strengths and weaknesses to everything that you do. There's a way to go, and I think at times we've played well. I think there are a lot of things that we can get better at, and I think we are getting better as the year goes on back there.
Your offensive line, can you just describe the level that they're playing at right now?
Our offensive line?
Yeah.
I think they're playing well. I thought we played below, subpar football a couple weeks ago, and I thought our guys responded last week, but I still think there's a lot of things we can improve at, but I'm seeing some things that are, I thought we played pretty well the other day. So I thought especially well inside. I thought our guards played really well.
Back to David for a second. You guys have 6 junior college players on your roster that your staff recruited. 4 of them start. Hardrick plays quite a bit. When you guys go after junior college players, are you looking for mental readiness? In other words, something where they can get on the field very quickly, or are you looking for something else?
We don't spend a lot of time recruiting junior college guys, but when we do, we're very specific, not only on the kid, but the situation, the type of kid he is. There's a lot of things that go into that, and we really do our homework as far as that's concerned.
So do you spend maybe more time picking out that one JUCO guy maybe than some of the other freshmen because you've got to hit on the junior college guy because he's got to play pretty quickly?
Yeah, we don't say like I said, we're very specific and very picky when it comes to that.
Well, obviously you wanted to win that game last year against Texas, but the way your players reacted, that was pretty much the ideal scenario, right? How they kind of bonded together.
After that game?
After that game, yeah.
Oh yeah, I was proud of our football team and how we responded to, coming back against a good Arizona team, But I had no question. I guess I didn't, I knew our guys would respond the right way.
What concerns you most about Texas? What's that one thing you look at and go, they do that really well, that's kind of what we need to prepare for?
Well, their team speed is tremendous, and they're a very talented football team, and you couple that athleticism and speed with good coaching, and it's a formidable challenge.
But with your players, did you think that they all collectively thought that they could compete with everyone? Did that game reinforce it, or that game, was that the point when they realized, hey, it doesn't matter the names on the jerseys, that type of thing?
I hope they never thought that was I thought our guys, well before that, believed they could play with anybody. I thought that,
Coach, how would you evaluate Eric Martin along the way of this season? What kind of things do they need to do now with Compton coming back to stay on the field?
Just got to keep getting better. I mean, there's a lot of things to improve upon. I mean, they're both young and inexperienced, and they're trying to got a lot of things to learn. And I'm seeing progress, and you're seeing it daily in practice. You just got to keep working at it, and it's not something that happens overnight, especially at that position.
Has the progression been accelerated, do you think, since Howard has the opportunity to play with Compton and Fisher out?
Absolutely. I mean, you start gaining experience. You start gaining real experience, on the field, and guys are going to improve from that.
Is it possible for a team to have a mental edge over another team based on history with what the success that Mac Brown has had over Nebraska in recent history?
I think I've said that already, that it's going to be one Saturday. It's not whatever's happened in the past. I mean, be it last year's game or the last 10 years, that has nothing to do with what's going to happen Saturday. None of those people that played in those games are playing this week. It's a different time, different place, and the team that earns it's going to win. One other thing I wanted to say is I know our fans are going to be great this Saturday, and it's going to be loud, but with everybody, all the hype, especially you guys are giving this football game, that I trust that our fans are going to treat Texas with tremendous respect, and throw everything else aside and all the things outside, people putting this on the game and that on the game. And last time we play in Texas, I know that I trust that our fans are going to greet Texas with tremendous respect and show these players and coaches and their program the respect they deserve, because I think they've earned that over a long period of time. And I know our fans are great fans. I know that'll happen.